My name is Michael Turney, Michael Roy Turney. I'm the father of Alyssa Turney, the one falsely accused of murdering his daughter, when in fact the Phoenix Police Department, William Anderson, and Stuart Summershoe knew full well there was no evidence, and they tried all corrupt means available to get a confession. Under the shield of law, folks. That's the badge that they were entrusted with. And what you've actually witnessed was not a man getting away with something heinous as killing his own daughter. Alyssa was not my stepdaughter. She was my daughter. Just as much as Sarah. She had special needs, and I tried to provide those with her to protect her not only from society and its cruelty that can happen to a child like Alyssa, but also to our government, who can look the other way for these learning impaired children. And Arizona is very, very backward on that kind of behavior. Always has been. Folks, I was born here in 1948, went through the public school system, and I'm fully aware of Arizona's lack of priority for public education. And all these battles that took place and stuff, the only public official who ever helped me on that was the Attorney General for Arizona at that time, when Alyssa was going through this, Janet Napolitano. Everybody else looked the other way. Nobody wanted to get involved in it, and it took civil suits, and I was labeled as litigious. But let's get back to what you actually witnessed, folks. What you've witnessed is two bad cops. Just because it was the Phoenix PD, it doesn't make any difference. We have this all throughout the country. But folks, I want to tell you something. Phoenix PD ranks really, really high, if not number one. And if you don't believe me, please take the time to read what the Phoenix Police Department did that was revealed in the United States Supreme Court decision, Miranda. It wasn't just an attack on this one individual. It was an attack on the Bill of Rights as it pertains to the judicial process in this country. And the Phoenix PD continues to operate that way in spite of many Department of Justice decisions. And I've listened to all of the gossip and all the rumors and the innuendos put on by these podcast people. Even ABC is covering up for these two cops. ABC 2020, why would they do that? Why would somebody as powerful as ABC 2020 want to cover up when in fact the investigation should now be turning to asking the question, why did this case go forth if there was no evidence? Why did we go over and allow this cop to lie to a grand jury? Why did we let this happen in the United States of America, to let a case go through and proceed when there was no evidence? And they were trying to use military takedowns on public streets to scare the hell out of anybody. I don't care who you were. I mean, it was just a scary, frightening thing to have that happen. To use my own daughter, who's trying to gain fame and attention with her podcast story. I mean, this is insane. But I don't see anyone conducting an investigation. I've written everybody but Santa Claus, trying to get their attention to tell them, look, do we really want to start persecuting parents who, because the government can declare their missing child dead legally, which is what the judge said if people were paying attention to what this honorable judge did. Sam Meyer stood up and told the public why he decided to acquit this. There was no evidence that Alyssa was murdered. They don't know whether she's alive or dead. They just did it technically. But what you're looking at is two cops that walked away free. And here's the real clincher, folks. Dateline wants to do another second interview with me. I don't know that I'm really up to it anymore because I'm tired of answering the same questions of the lies that were created by William Anderson and Stuart Summershoe. Because they can. Because they're the good guys. And anybody they look at declared as bad guy because he appeared to be abnormal. Well, all you need to really do, folks, is really investigate in Arizona what it was like in the 90s to try and get your child the proper education that is guaranteed in this nation to every one of our children under our Constitution of the United States. Federal legislation called FAPE. Okay? This is very important, folks. And then the IDEA, Individual Disability Education Act, to set up an IEP. Alyssa was not an average student, folks. Okay? She was a below average student and was that way since we first put her in public education. That's why we tutored her. She was the only one of 6 who had those problems. Did that bother Alyssa? We tried to make it so it was a family secret. But now it's all over the world, and everybody's sitting back and saying, hey, she wasn't impaired. No, she acted just normal like everybody else did. How the hell do you know what an ADD child is? Her pediatrician recognized it, Dr. K from Children's Medical Center, who had treated all 6 of my children. He recognized it, diagnosed her with it. Anderson was told this. It was not Dr. John Matson. He was a psychiatrist. He was treating me for what was wrongfully done to me in 1993, folks. Something that the federal government declared was a disability because it destroyed my family, my career, because of campaign finance money. Now you have to ask yourself, why are the news media continuously asking me the same stupid question? There was no evidence, folks, okay? Alyssa couldn't draw out the $1,860, and it goes on and on and on without notifying me. Was Alyssa impultuous? Yes, she was. Somebody could talk her into just about anything. Her own friends said that, but they didn't recognize what they said because they themselves were using Alyssa for entertainment, borrowing money from her, not paying it back, taking advantage of her great nature and kindness that Alyssa was well known for, and then getting her very obsessive of wanting to have her own baby. She will make a wonderful mother, because I like to believe as a parent that she's still alive. But am I going to get from A to B? My health is deteriorated, folks. I continue to go to the doctors, but it's difficult once you get out of jail to get a primary doctor, and it's taking a long time. I'm finally getting psychiatric care for something that destroyed me years ago. But I've tried to stick by my family, do what I could. And believe me, though it sounds kind of strange, when I tried to get help for, especially for Alyssa, including her own biological father, to see if he had room for Alyssa, to make and build a bridge between the things that happened, the time he tried to run me over with the car, and the Phoenix PD tried to cover that up because, folks, they've labeled me as a vigilante because I have reported over and over and over again bad cops for Phoenix PD, because I think that's what we should do as citizens. We cannot allow bad cops to ruin the entire barrel of apples, folks. But if you want to get rid of a bad cop in the City of Phoenix Police Department, believe me, folks, it might even take more than a damn video. Anyway, this probably is my last one, but I'm sitting back and asking myself, now that it has been shown in a court of law, a 5-day trial for a murder that ended on the 6th day, early in the morning, because there was no evidence. You got 2 bad cops that said their objective was to punish me before I died of old age or disease. And they did it, folks. Yeah, they got away with it. And it goes deeper than that. Because when you tell the Phoenix PD, no, you can't search my house because you don't have probable cause, folks, you are in a world of hurt. Because they will do whatever it takes, including lying on affidavits, which Anderson and Summershoe did continuously. That was shown during the trial by 2 great public defenders. And everybody seems to forget. Where do we go from here now? Oh, Mr. Turney should be just grateful because he has been cleared of this. What about the 2 cops that created it? What are we doing about that? It's a subject we can't touch, folks, because it involves the border. Oh, the border's a no-no. So instead of the details, this may be the last one I make. I really don't know. To me, I'm just disgusted with the whole thing completely. Now that I'm starting to come back to some form of reality, I can't get my health back. I don't know what all I've got. They said it was strep throat, which was probably chronic because there was, CYA is what the sheriff's office offered, folks. And, there was no safety features whatsoever for, especially some of my age. I had COVID-19 twice. They didn't treat it, folks. Once they said I had it or showed positive, they threw me in a dungeon which is called the infirmary, for 17 days, a little bit beyond the 10 days that CDC recommends. But that was to punish me, to try and take away my cell alone because of the constant threats that were made against me because of the news media continuously perpetuating these damn lies. I don't see anybody apologizing, this Stephanie Harlow or these other people with their stupid podcasts. They're gossipers. They're not telling you the facts. In my case, is a perfect example of a witch hunt. Just like 1692. What are they doing to make and go after these two dirty cops? Nothing. Department of Justice hasn't called back. I've written letters. And here's the real clincher. Now the Phoenix PD is refusing to release my property from 2008 and 2020. They don't want to release it. And the cop Anders himself, in a recording which I've saved, maybe I should play that for you. None of it makes a damn bit of difference. You found your bad guy, right? He's the heinous guy that got away with. You guys are nuts. And that's why this country is deteriorating into a cesspool. Because you believe gossip? What the hell's wrong with you? I come from the time whenever you had to show an American. You couldn't just tell them, well, here's how you're going to think and here's how you're going to believe all this stuff told by the government or news media. Are you nuts? This is not what this country, you're not a damn American. Americans always question their government, and they sure as hell do not let news media tell them how or what to think. Doesn't really matter, I guess, all this stuff. It's just, it's just like pandering back with, gossip with some biddy that wants to sit back and start a rumor. It's just a sad day. It really is that this could, that they're going to more than likely get away with this. And I'm waiting to see if, believe it or not, they could actually appeal that judge's decision, folks, is what I was told. Whether that's true or not. Hell, I don't know anymore, folks. I don't know that if once you're tried and acquitted, whether it goes through a jury or not. And that judge was smart enough not to send it to them, especially after that very emotional tape recording that didn't say I committed a murder, didn't say Alyssa was murdered. It just said a parent was very frustrated with his daughter because he was falsely accused of thinking, she's saying she thought she was going to be raped. Falsely accused of, so Alyssa could get away and live the life that her friends were telling her she did. Go out and have sex with whoever she wants to. Her own brother said within days after leaving my secure home, she had sex with a stranger in the apartment complex she was in. Does that seem normal to you folks? Because if it is, then you're the one that needs psychiatric care. Just because everybody else does it, children. And when you have an ADD child, that's what they're susceptible to. I spent hours and hours and hours counseling Alyssa, not because I was sexually obsessed with my own daughter. It's because I wanted to protect her. Was it overprotection? None of the other children like it. Most of the children made good decisions. John had some poor ones in the beginning, and then finally he started getting to where he understood that there was people that really loved him. He learned to hug his own mother. These things are the truth. Anyway, I'm going to close this out. I don't know what the hell's going to happen here on out.